Welcome to This Explainer. Today we are diving into a fundamental shift in how we actually interact with technology. The next computer you buy isn't just going to be some faster laptop with a shiny new neural processor in it. We're literally transitioning into an era where the computer becomes an autonomous agent execution field. And here's the catch. Giving an AI model full control of your PC without a rigorous control layer, that's basically like putting a brilliant but completely blindfolded driver behind the wheel of a sports car. This massive leap forward desperately needs a structural control layer to function, or else we are risking total chaos. So today we're going to explore exactly why AI needs what's called the energetic paradigm. Here is our quick roadmap for today. We'll start with the agent PC revolution, move into the new execution problem, introduce EP control as the spine of the solution, explore how it strengthens the tech stack, and wrap up with the global strategic contest. Let's jump right in. Section 1. The Agent PC Revolution. The term AI PC gets thrown around a lot right now, right? But it's actually kind of misleading if we just think of it as a standard laptop that happens to have a smart chip inside. The break here is much more structural. Historically, in the application-centered era, you are the routing system. Software just waits for you. You open the program, you click the menus, import the files, and you manually move your work from one interface to another. But in this emerging agent-centered era, the computer acts autonomously. You simply state an intention, a goal, and the agent translates that into subtasks. It calls the necessary tools, opens files, invokes models, and brings you a completed result. The agent essentially takes over that manual routing entirely. Section 2, the new execution problem. So this structural break totally moves the goalpost. The decisive question is no longer just, hey, is the AI model smart? The real issue is the execution controlled? Think about it. When a human makes a mistake on a computer, it's usually pretty isolated. But an autonomous agent, it can create a catastrophic domino effect in milliseconds. Imagine this terrifying sequence. The agent selects the wrong tool. Because of that, it edits an incorrect file. It then autonomously syncs that fabricated data to your cloud database, which subsequently triggers a downstream business decision based on absolute fiction. Without control, autonomous execution leads directly to objective drift, hidden constraint violations, and massive compute waste. I mean, you are literally burning through server dollars to deliver bad outcomes. Section 3. EP control, the spine. If unregulated agents are a recipe for disaster, the energetic paradigm, or EP, is the hero that prevents it. EP is the missing operating discipline for agent-native computing. It supplies the control, reasoning, and governance layer to turn all that autonomous execution into reliable, safe production. Think of it as the central nervous system. Without a spine, an agent is just a hyperactive intern flailing around with full administrative privileges. Sure, it can move through tools rapidly, but it can't guarantee that its movement is actually valid. EP guarantees that validity. A powerful model only becomes a governable agent when EP steps in to answer 5 really strict questions. First, what objective is protected? Like, are we prioritizing accuracy, privacy, or legal compliance? Second, what flows are permitted? Which files and tools is the agent actually allowed to touch? Third, what shortcuts must be blocked to prevent cheap but completely unreliable paths? Fourth, what verification is absolutely mandatory before moving forward? And finally, what level of uncertainty triggers a full stop for human escalation? EP sets these absolute non-negotiable boundaries. Section 4, strengthening the stack. EP doesn't just add some basic safety filter at the very end of a process. It actively enhances the entire execution stack across several dimensions. Let's take intention to structure conversion. If you tell a standard AI to, say, design a house, it usually just guesses and instantly spits out a generated image. But EP forces a rigorous framework first. It translates that vague request by defining a specific target state, mapping strict constraints like local building codes and, gravity, allocating resources, defining failure conditions, and requiring specific verification gates. It stops the agent from confusing a vague human command with a valid execution plan. Now, what's really fascinating here is the difference between guessing and actually knowing. When we look at reasoning, a standard agent just makes plausible guesses. It predicts the next most likely logical step. But an EP-enhanced model relies on active, hard constraints. And when it comes to the agent harness, a normal agent treats a computer as just a simple sequence of tools to blindly call. EP, on the other hand, questions the cost and risk of every single tool call before it happens. It asks, does this actually reduce uncertainty, or are we just wasting compute? Furthermore, standard agents only verify their work at the very end, which is crazy because by then, the memory is often already completely contaminated. EPE institutes continuous local gates during execution, testing important transformations as they happen. And if something breaks, a standard agent just blindly tries a generic retry. EP, however, diagnoses exactly where the specific flow broke, replacing generic retries with controlled recursive correction. Because let's be real, in agent computing, failure is layered. EP acts as a highly sophisticated diagnostic toolkit that pinpoints exactly what went wrong. Was the process derailed by stale input data? Did the agent optimize a proxy metric and completely fail the real incentive? Did a local fix cause a massive downstream stability crash? By clearly mapping these distinct failure types, EP ensures the system actually learns from its mistakes instead of just randomly guessing again. And the final enhancements handle real-world complexity. EP masters resource allocation, deciding whether a task should run locally on your workstation or if it actually justifies firing up the massive compute of a cloud AI factory. It also integrates deep domain awareness. It knows that legal, medical, and architectural tasks are highly structured systems with totally different safety margins, not just basic text generation. Most importantly, it coordinates perfectly with you, automating the routine stuff, but instantly escalating decisions that involve high uncertainty, irreversible action, or legal exposure right back to human control.
Section 5. The Strategic Contest.
Let's zoom out from the local PC for a moment and look at the massive strategic implications across the global landscape. We are essentially looking at two poles in the new computing world. The agent PC is your local execution node, offering privacy, persistence, super low latency, and personal agency. It's where your intentions start. Then you have the AI factory, which is the massive industrial layer in the cloud, converting raw electricity, capital, and silicon into sheer intelligence throughput. EP is the absolutely critical architecture that governs the flow and resource allocation between these two massive forces. And this brilliantly illustrates the momentum of the complete strategic conversion chain. Computing is now an energetic flow system. Human intention flows to a structured objective, then to agent planning, to tool execution, consuming compute along the way, passing through verification, and finally landing at a real-world output. Every single arrow in that chain is a flow that can leak, stall, or drift. EP provides the control logic for this entire chain. Which leads us to an inescapable conclusion. The winning layer is the architecture that controls how intention becomes action. Think about what this means strategically for a second. Simply owning the fastest chip, having the smartest base model, or building the biggest data center, it is no longer enough. Strategic dominance in the next decade belongs to whoever owns the control architecture capable of commanding this entire execution chain while preventing failure and preserving the actual objective. As we step into this wild new era, I want to leave you with this final thought. As agents become the primary users of computers, who controls how intention becomes action? And how can that execution remain valid, efficient, and governable? The energetic paradigm isn't just some optional upgrade. It is the essential requirement for our automated future. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Take care and keep learning.